Hi everyone, my name is Ryan and this is the Elev8 project and we are back from Vegas. So I'm back in the studio and I'm jumping online just kind of talk about YouTube and what are we going to be doing on this channel. So coming back from Vegas, really wanted to test out the Insta360 Go Ultra. Wanted to put it through its paces as a traveling companion. And sneak peek, that is going to be on the next review on the probably next couple weeks for the Insta360 Go Ultra. I wouldn't say it's a long-term review. I really just focused on the Insta360 Go Ultra specifically for as an action cam for cycling. Cycling, I've been testing a few different cameras. One is the Insta360 X5. And then wanted a different perspective. And I really like the fact that I can put the Insta360 Go Ultra with the necklace magnet and easily take it out and have different points of view versus the Insta360 X5, which would be mounted to my bike, got great footage. But when I stopped to get a cup of coffee or having some time with my fellow cyclists, my friends on a coffee ride, I would have to undo that X5 and then film again from there. The other standout device that I was using on this trip was the Ray-Ban Metas. Now, I think this is the second version. I got them a couple years back and I haven't used them for a while. And the reason why I wanted to bring them to Vegas on this particular trip was to test them out, to try them, kind of compare it to the Insta360 Go Ultra, because I'm super excited to check out the Oakley Meta collaboration, specifically the Vanguards. So the Vanguards haven't come out yet. And again, it's kind of my Oakley style sunglasses with a camera on a cycling trip or on a cycle ride. And so I wanted to be able to try the Metas again and really kind of test them out and see if if it's worth it for me to get the Vanguards. A couple of reasons why, because I have a couple great sunglasses from Oakley. They're nice, they're light, they do the job. And then I also have the Insta360 Go Ultra and the X5 for filming while I'm on the road. So what was surprising about the Ray-Ban Metas on this trip is I went on a few shows with my family, specifically The Wizard of Oz, which I went with my son in the Sphere, and also with my whole family to Shin Lim. Now, typically when you go to Vegas, they do not like you taking photography or videography during those shows. And when I went into the Sphere, wow, I didn't get checked for a camera or anything like that. Everyone was filming with their iPhones, with their phones in the beginning of the show. Not a lot of people, I noticed, was taking out any other type of camera to film within the show outside of, again, their phone. Now, Shin Lim, on the other hand, they did bag checks. There was nice big signs saying they didn't want to see any photography. They didn't want to see any videography. So even though the Insta360 Go Ultra was discreet, the Meta glasses were very discreet. And in most cases, you never really knew I was recording. So I got some good footage just to test out in Shin Lim, that show, the magic show, as well as the Wizard of Oz. Now, there are some drawbacks to that, of course, because you're obviously looking around and some of the footage is fairly shaky. The Insta360 Go Ultra, again, tune in for that review. And again, maybe it's because I knew it was a camera. I was a lot more careful, but the footage was fairly smooth. And I can't wait to do the editing for that footage and compare it as well. I did do some different types of field of view to test that out. I didn't really change the color profiles. I wanted to really be a test of out of the box. Would you just buy this, use it, have little experience, and maybe are an enthusiast and really buying it as an action cam where you can just take like a GoPro or again, the DJI, also action cams, and then of course the Insta360. Now, again, I'll go into full comparison on those videos and keep you updated. Now, update on the YouTube channel. So I've been doing a lot of live streams. This is the 13th live stream that I've done and wanted to keep you kind of updated and what to expect. We're gonna be doing some tech reviews, a lot of tech reviews, and kind of revitalizing the channel. Really wanted to get back to its roots, really tech, working from home. Maybe you want to start your own YouTube channel because you bought a lot of gear, maybe for Zoom, and you want to just use those particular tech that you purchased to start a YouTube channel. That's essentially what I did. Obviously, I expanded into a media company and have a videography business. So wanted to kind of come back, wanted to try something that I haven't done, which was live streaming, and then get back into doing some YouTube videos, share some of my knowledge and also my journey. Just revitalizing a YouTube channel, I think is a little difficult, and obviously I'm seeing a lot of ups and downs, which is a-okay. I think as consistent as we go, we'll see again a little bit more success. So live stream, what I'm doing right now is I'm using the Sony FX30. I have that partnered with a 16mm Sigma 1.4 lens. It's on a small rig video tripod. And if you watch my other live streams, I've been using the Shure SM7B on this Rode arm that's connected to my Rodecaster Duo. Now, I want to simplify the live streams, and something that I'm going to be doing for my YouTube videos as well is I have been using for one of our podcasts that we film for the company, as well as a podcast that I'm doing with a friend of mine called The Last Wheel Cycling. Again, because I'm excited about the Oakley Meta collaboration Vanguards. Cycling has been a big part of my life as of late. So we started a podcast and doing this setup, except for not with the FX30, but with the FX3, is this Sony XLR handle. What's great about the XLR handle is all the audio and all the video is going right into the camera and then exporting and recording, versus recording audio separate and video separate and then putting it together in post. What's nice about the XLR handle is for videography, obviously, if you're on the go, you have the handle, you can move it around. What is really nice about the XLR handle is that it's got two outputs, technically three outputs, but it has two XLR connections. So for a video podcast with two people, it's great. It's an easy setup. And I really want live streams and YouTube videos, filming them to be really seamless with the least amount of friction. So the camera setup is super simple. I'm using right now the Rode NTG5 connected to the XLR handle, and I have a softbox on a C-stand, which is, I'm using the Amaran 200S. So it is just a daylight light, doesn't change colors. And I'm using the softbox, I believe it's an 85 centimeter. and I'm using the grid. I'm using the grid so it's just really kind of just focused on me and it's not spilling out. Again, this is live stream. It's kind of difficult for me to kind of dial in because I'm usually happy what I see on the screen, and then when it gets posted on to live, it's either a little bit too bright or a little bit too dark, so I'm still trying to dial that in. So yeah, what's next is kind of just talking about different strategies. One of the strategies I am is just connecting with the audience right now, connecting with you. So hopefully you can find some value in this content. But really the live streams is just giving me that ability just to press record. The nice thing that I like about live streams is that even though there may not be a lot of people watching the live stream, it gets the video done, gets the thoughts out of my head onto the video, and then it will automatically turn into one of the videos for the channel. Now, I believe my goal is to live stream regularly on top of creating some videos. And I haven't found a cadence or time, but once I do, I'm gonna commit to a certain time. So hopefully I'll be able to see more of you in the live stream and the chat. I did notice, obviously, when I was in Vegas, I appreciate all of you that joined the live stream, is during the day it makes it much easier for people to join. And unfortunately, because I was doing those live streams more impromptu in between spending time with my family and testing out those cameras, is that I couldn't stay on the live stream that long. So I know we had a few people on the live stream and I was super excited to chat, just didn't have that time. And then when I come and do these later streams, like right now it's 9:00 p.m., there's not a lot of people that are on the live stream to interact with and really chat. So not an issue. However, that being said, what now? So the Elev8 project has gone through some different stages. You've probably seen some different videos. One of them really kind of just come down to is just technology. I love tech. I love camera tech. I love fitness tech. I love desktop or desk setup tech, all those type of things. Now, some things that you may notice is also I gravitate a lot to certain brands. So Sony, so all my cameras are Sony. It's not any in particular because I don't like Canon, is Sony works for me. I love the quality that I get out for the professional work. I really like what I get out of recording these YouTube videos and still trying to tweak and dial in the settings for live stream. And I've invested a lot into the lenses, so it's an E-mount. So switching from Sony to Canon right now would be kind of a big jump. And I would say for me, a huge investment to invest in new camera setup, lenses, and the way that I edit. Now, it could be simpler, it could be just me just not willing to adapt to change right now. I am interested to test out the Canon C50 though. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But Sony's been working really well for me. The cameras that I've been using when I first started YouTube, I did start with my phone. At the time, I think I started with the iPhone 12 Pro, I believe. And then I moved to the Sony ZV-E10. Now, I loved that camera. The camera was great for a lot of different reasons. But one of the main reasons was I was looking for a camera that had decent quality video and streaming capability to go on Zoom and Teams and WebEx really seamlessly without really worrying about log or color or editing and those type of things. I really wanted it to be frictionless. So when I started with my iPhone at the time, I literally could just press record and then upload the video after some edits. The Sony ZV-E10 was great for that as well, except for just leveling up that quality. So I did use the kit lens that came with it. I believe it was like an 18 to 50 millimeter. And then I ended up buying this same lens, the Sigma 16 millimeter 1.4, and it worked great with the Sony ZV-E10. If you look back at my past videos with the Sony ZV-E10, I felt like I really dialed in the color. Then I kind of really started to play around with editing and started shooting in log. So a few drawbacks to the Sony ZV-E10 after a while was it did heat up when I was recording for long periods of time, which, you know, sometimes happens. The other thing is I did use it as my primary webcam during the pandemic. So I was using it on Zoom, I was using it for Teams and WebEx, and I had to buy a dummy battery, and then I was connecting an audio setup, and then of course the camera itself to power it. So it was just this crazy, all these wires all over the place, and it was fine, don't get me wrong, it was good. I felt that I wanted to simplify the process. And it was the introduction of the Sony FX30 that really got me thinking this is where I wanted to go, and wanted to take YouTube a little bit more seriously, but videography a little bit more seriously. So the Sony FX30 was perfect for what I wanted to do. It's an APS-C sensor, so it's a smaller sensor than full frame, which made it affordable, and the lenses were much more affordable and cheaper than the full frame lenses. So, and the FX30 was focused on the cinema line. So the Sony ZV-E10 could take pictures for sure, 100%. Photography wasn't the main purpose of me getting the Sony FX30. The Sony FX30 was to do videos, to do YouTube videos, and at that time is when I got into videography. So kind of that story began is when I started filming for my daughter's studio. So of course, during the pandemic, there was a lot of challenges, and I got really good at virtual presentations. So I started filming and doing some of the videography work for the studio. And then it kind of expanded from there. Got to do a little bit more work as the parents I got to know a little bit better, and they were involved in different industries, and they needed some work with one setting up their home for virtual meetings and presentations, and I was able to kind of facilitate myself in that way. And then of course for other industries where they were looking for social media videography, and as well as their social work, sorry, I apologize, use that as well, but videos for like commercials for their businesses. So it really expanded from there. Now, the next camera that I ended up getting is the FX30, which is the big brother or the full frame version of the FX30. And so what was great about that, I was able to use both cameras and the Sony ZV-E10 as a 3-camera setup. The Sony ZV-E10 I was still using in most cases for like a dedicated webcam and for YouTube. And then the one big feature that I loved about the FX30 is that it had a live streaming feature, which means that you can plug this in with one USB-C cable, charges the battery, and the computer recognizes it as a webcam. So it made it even super simple. So I ended up getting rid of the Sony ZV-E10. I was keeping it specifically to learn photography, and really have that dedicated for that purpose. However, I wanted to start going towards some real estate videography and photography. Videography first. And so I ended up getting a Sony A7 IV, which was kind of that upgrade from the A7 III. And as much as it is an awesome camera, I still used it as a video first camera for my needs. So even for my first couple live streams, I used the A7 IV with a 24mm lens, which kind of gets you the same kind of field of view as the 16mm setup that I have right now. So I do find that with the A7 IV, the other great feature is it also has that live streaming feature. So you can plug it through USB-C, plug into your computer, and you're good to go. Now, because they were all Sony and I was filming all in log, my three main cameras today is the Sony FX30, the Sony FX3, and the Sony A7 IV. Now, it's a great combination. It's a little bit tricky to have them color graded exactly the same. There's some slight differences. However, it for the video work that I've been doing has been a learning curve, and I've been able to kind of dial in where I need it to be. So when I use all three cameras in one project, it works out fairly well. So it looks like we have a few people coming in and out. So again, this is the Elev8 project. I'm Ryan, just kind of talking about YouTube update for the channel, and what now? What's next? So again, for the camera setups, that's kind of what I'm going to be using. For YouTube specifically, I'm probably going to be switching in between the Sony FX30 and the Sony A7 IV. Now, if you're first starting out, again, just like myself, I did start with the iPhone 12 Pro, and at that time, it was a great camera for YouTube. Today, if you're going to start out and you have an iPhone 15, iPhone 16, or iPhone 17, especially when you get into, let's say, the Pros, you're going to be more than happy with the quality of video that you get out of those particular cameras when you are filming YouTube. Now, of course, the Pixel 9, the Pixel 10 that just came out, the Samsung S25, the Samsung S25 Ultra, all those cameras are going to be great. Now, again, talking about this kind of talking head type video, the only thing that you kind of need to think about is, how am I going to keep the camera in place? So we need may want to invest in some sort of iPhone holder that you can use. Even maybe a gimbal, like an iPhone gimbal, or a smartphone gimbal. Those things are also really good, and you can even connect them onto a tripod, and you don't have to go really expensive. I would say even lighting, you may not even have to invest a lot of money into lighting. Just even by a window, having that natural daylight is really going to help out as well. The only other thing that was really important to me was audio. Now, again, this is my first setup on a live stream with the Rode NTG5. I mean, you don't have to go out and buy an expensive podcast mic of any sort to start off. I'd say use your iPhone audio, and a little tip is the closer you are to your audio source, the better the quality of audio you're going to get. So regardless of what type of mic that you have, I'd say there's a few suggestions if you wanted to get a mic. One is I was just testing this out. I have the box right here. Give me a sec. So there's a few mics. This one here is a mic that has really good audio. And if you take a look at a couple live streams ago, I compared this mic. It's the Mono PD200X. And I compared the quality of the audio with the Shure SM7B. What's nice about this, it has USB-C and an XLR connection. So the cool thing about this, it does come with a mic stand as well. It has a shock mount. So if you have this connected to your desk and your desk shakes, it's going to absorb that and you won't get that into your recording. So this is actually a pretty good mic. And the only thing about a mic like this, again, is it's a dynamic mic, which means that you're going to get the best audio, again, as this is close to your audio source. As you go further away from this, it doesn't really pick up or give you the best audio quality. Now, there is dynamic and condenser. So the mic that I'm using right now is the Rode NTG5. It's a condenser boom mic, so it is meant to record a little bit farther away, but it's also directional. So as long as I have that mic pointed to me, it's going to get my audio and kind of cancels out anything around it. Another mic that, again, if you are going to be connecting it to your iPhone, is some of these shotgun mics. And this is a Deity shotgun mic, and it does use a TRS cable. So typically there is an adapter that connects from the USB-C to a TRRS for an iPhone. And I don't believe it comes with it anymore, so you do have to buy that adapter. If you get an Android device, some of them do come with that adapter, USB-C to TRRS, so you can connect one of these shotgun mics. So this one is battery operated. So for this to work properly and to get the best audio, you do need, it is rechargeable. You would have to change the batteries from time to time. The other mic that you can get is, this one's made by Rode, and this is also a boom mic. And what I like about this is that it is rechargeable through USB-C. So the great thing about that is you're good to go. And there are some other options as well if you want to go wireless. The two wireless systems that I have for my videography work is the DJI mic. I actually have the original, and it's great because it has the receiver to connect to a camera like the Sony FX30 that I'm using now, that also has an adapter for the iPhone and for Android devices. And it comes with an adapter for USB-C, which all new phones have now. Now, if you do have an older iPhone, let's say like the iPhone 12 Pro that I was using, it also came with a lightning adapter, and you can plug the receiver into there, and it comes with two wireless mics. The thing that what I love about that is that it is kind of set up so you can put it kind of by your collar or by your chest to get the best audio. Again, the closer your audio source is to the mic, the better. And so, yeah, I think other than lighting, audio is super important. So regardless of what camera that you have and you want to start YouTube videos, lighting and audio. Because regardless if you're filming with a 1080p camera, a 4K camera, or 720p, lighting is going to make a huge difference. Now, I do have a few videos in my library when it comes to 3-point light setups and using also just a window, depending on where you're filming, and even in if you have different scenes or scenarios. So if you want to do cooking YouTube videos in the kitchen, or you want to do talking head like I'm doing here in front of my desk, the lighting is always going to be really important. Audio, again, second thing. Camera is not necessarily the first thing that you need to upgrade in your arsenal. I'd say kind of go through those steps. Now, some future videos that I'm probably going to be doing as well is we're going to be taking a look at obviously the Insta360 Go Ultra. The second thing is looking at the Ray-Ban Metas, or re-look at it again. And I'm going to update a video that a lot of people have been asking me to remake, just because in the actual video itself was fairly dark. So I'm going to make sure it's nice and bright. Is how to set up a gimbal, specifically the DJI 3 Mini, which will be the kind of same setup if you have the Mini 4. And I'm also going to do a video to set up the DJI RS3, so the bigger brother. And of course there's newer Ronins, there's newer gimbals. Setup and balancing it is roughly the same, and be balancing it with the FX30 with the smaller lenses, and also the full frame. So also set that up with FX3 and the A7 IV with heavier lenses, full frame lenses. And for me, I really love the DJI Mini 3. It's just easy to travel with. It's relatively easy to set up. The RS3 is bigger, it's heavier, so is the camera, and it's got some really cool features. But I'll redo the setup for setting up a gimbal, because there's a lot of different unique creative things that you can do with a gimbal for YouTube videos, depending on what you're going to be doing. I did a few videos on getting my car wrapped when I got my Tesla Model 3, and I'll probably do an update video on just electric cars in general. I mean, for me, working from home has been one of those things, where can I save? And I ended up getting a Tesla Model Y after the Model 3, so we have those two vehicles, so probably give an update on those. And I'm going to do a desk setup, something that has changed over the years for sure. And I just moved into this newer place where I've kind of turned a room into quote unquote studio, more so a dance studio for my kids. So I got a little section here, and I've kind of minimized and simplified my desk than I had in the past. In the past, I had a big, huge, massive desk. I have gotten a smaller desk, and I've also changed from the Rodecaster Pro original to the Rodecaster Duo. So for those of you that have looked at the Rodecaster series, the Rodecaster Pro has 4 mic inputs, and the Rodecaster Duo has only got 2. And the reason why I kind of switched, and there's nothing wrong with the original Rodecaster that I had. It worked really, really well. It worked with the podcast setups that I had for, which I still do. I actually use the Rodecaster Pro Original for a lot of my podcast videos. For my desk though, and for my setup, I use the Duo. And the main reason is because I typically don't use more than 2 mics at my desk. One is for, and these are the 2 mics that I use on my desk. One is the Shure SM7B, and I'll use these for Zoom calls or for just my solo podcasts. And it's just great to have at my desk. Nice, easy, and I think it gives me better audio quality. It is my favorite mic. The other mic that I use at my desk when I don't want something, around me while I'm filming from my desk is the Rode NTG5 shotgun mic. Something that I kind of put above my monitors when, also again, if I'm in Zoom call or anything like that. So those are the only 2 mics that really go into my Duo. Don't really need 4 at my desk. But some really cool things that I've got on my desk as well is the Stream Deck, something that's very new. So that is something that I'm going to update as well, and how I'm using it. Yes, for live streams, from switching from different scenes. And also using it for productivity. So that's the other thing that I'm looking to do an update on that as well. So yeah, those are a few things that we're going to be doing on this YouTube channel. We are also I'm going to continue the podcast. I'm going to start doing some podcast videos for this channel. I think I only had 1 season, and we're kind of bring up what's happening in 2025. We're going to continue doing live streams. Again, things like this, really simple, talking head, kind of check out the things that I'm interested in and the things that I probably want to do reviews on in the future. And yeah, doing some videos for reviews as well. So I know that's a lot. I mean, it is 9 p.m. I do appreciate those of you that came on and watched for a little bit, and hopefully you can get some value and hopefully see and get excited about some of the future videos that I'll be filming. And I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. And I think for now, we're going to call it a night. We'll catch you in the next one.